We believe that was a good first step, but we believe it's the law that's broken and it's the law that needs to be fixed.
The sponsors of the Brad Johnson Act talking about what they see wrong with the law and why they believe their bill will fix the problem.
There's a cool front on the way, and it's not going to make it cold around here, but it certainly will make the weather feel a bit different coming up on Friday. We'll talk temperatures and rain chances coming up.
Also, the city of Brookside facing a 15th lawsuit. The latest alleging a traffic stop led to a man being put in jail. We're going to tell you what this lawsuit claims happened inside the jail cell.
And WVTM 13 is live in Gadsden at a town hall tonight. People voicing their opinions over the possible removal of an occupational tax.
I came in as a firefighter and I was promoted through every rank.
And calling it a career after decades on the job, Bessemer's fire chief is now set to retire.
Live, local, late breaking. WVTM 13 News at 6:30 starts now.
The city of Brookside and former police chief Mike Jones named in yet another lawsuit, the 15th in the last 15 months. Thanks for joining us at 6:30. I'm Sherry Falk.
And I'm Ian Wright. So the issues in Brookside have been bubbling to the surface over the last year and a half or so. The police department accused of pulling over and ticketing drivers to make money for the department.
Several people say they were pulled over outside of the town's jurisdiction. It has led to dozens of lawsuits. The latest by a man, Anil Pascal. He says he was pulled over late at night in January of 2021. The officer told him he was speeding. The suit says other officers arrived, at which point Pascal was taken out of the car and put in handcuffs.
So after a search, Pascal says he and his passenger were taken to jail in Brookside. Inside, the suit claims he was denied his anxiety medication, and for 3 days, officers refused to let him call anyone. At one point, the suit says Pascal had blood drawn for a DUI test without his consent. It also alleges he was held in jail without clothes, even put in a metal chair, naked and handcuffed in an open hallway.
All in all, he spent a week in the Brookside jail. He was later released on bond, facing 7 charges. Just 10 months ago, the Institute for Justice, a nonprofit law firm, filed a 69-page class action lawsuit. 4 victims were named in the suit. Last year, one spoke about what allegedly happened to them during similar circumstances.
Took me into the police station where I had to undress and be humiliated by being strip searched, and my daughter as well, by Brookside police. They then put me in a cell with a man.
Mike Jones was the chief of police at the time. He resigned in January of 2022. WVTM 13 has reached out to the city of Brookside for a comment, but have not heard back.
The city of Gadsden holding a town hall meeting right now discussing legislation to remove the occupational tax. The bill's expected to be introduced by State Senator Andrew Jones next month, and WVTM 13's Aaron Llewellyn is live in Gadsden for us tonight. Aaron, you're inside what looks like a packed meeting. So what are they having to say?
What's going on here? When we hear that somebody's going to take funds from our
Sherry,
city,
Ian, tonight's town hall is all about giving the people the facts about how doing away with the occupational tax will affect them. And most people seem to be just fine with paying it. And I'm going to step out the way so I can give you a look at this packed room where it is standing room only. We've heard from several elected officials and city and county employees who seem to be passionate about fighting for the people of Gadsden and surrounding towns. The 2% tax rate that every Gadsden employee is charged brings in more than $15 million a year to fund local government amenities. If this tax was repealed, city departments like Parks and Rec, Fire, Police, Sanitation, and Education will lose funding. That would mean cutting positions across several departments and limiting services offered to people in Gadsden like weekly trash pickup and summer camps. And it seems that's what most who live here are trying to avoid. Now, a bill to repeal the occupational tax is expected to be introduced by State Senator Andrew Jones when the legislative session begins next month. He says the tax punishes people for simply working. Now, people here at the town hall are expected to voice their concerns later tonight, but we'll bring you more updates from this town hall tonight at 10 in Gadsden. Aaron Llewellyn, WVTM 13.
Turning now to weather, it has felt pretty wonderful all week, but tomorrow we're going to get a cool down.
Yeah, so we're talking, what, about a 20-degree temperature drop there?
A 20-degree temperature drop will get us close to what an average high would be in late February. This has been an incredible period of warmth. It is the 9th warmest January, February on record in Birmingham thus far, and I think we may add to that because we're going back to the 70s again pretty soon after we have this brief cool down. Call it a wrong way Friday. The high will happen around midnight. Temperatures will be dropping through the day. We're not talking about it getting extremely cold, but it will be a different day for sure. Some patchy occasional showers, then some spotty rain coming up for the weekend. So here's our starting point. Double Springs, Holly Pond, Huntsville, Galesville in the 50s to near 60. Jefferson County, Shelby County, maybe even mid-60s around Montevallo and Shelby early tomorrow morning. And then watch this. In the afternoon, it's 75 at Verbena, 68 at Montevallo, 59 at Oakman, 55 at Double Springs, and then close to 60 around Etowah County and Cherokee County. A very different kind of day setting up for us. Isolated showers are still in progress this evening. We'll talk more about what you can expect beyond the Friday cool down into the weekend coming up in the 7-day forecast.
All right, the Alabama legislative session starts next month, and one of the most talked about pre-filed bills concerns the so-called good time law. The Brad Johnson Act would make it more difficult for inmates with a criminal history to get out on good behavior. Johnson was a Bibb County deputy who was killed while on duty last year. Austin Hall is charged in his death, and despite a long criminal history, he was released under the good time law. Well, this bill would cut down on incentive time for inmates who have committed violent or serious offenses. Bibb County Deputy Chris Poole was shot the same day as Johnson, and he backs the bill and backed it today.
We didn't know that was going to be our last day. He didn't know it was going to be his last day. I thought it was my last day, but God had other reasons that he left me here. The SB1 is an amazing thing to me. It's an amazing thing. It's gonna save the lives of many.
The legislative session, by the way, begins on March the 7th.
For a second time, we're seeing collection boxes broken into at area post offices. The latest in Homewood. Mail was stolen at more than one post office throughout the city. Back in December, a post office in Hoover had to completely remove the collection boxes because of thefts. Well, just a few weeks back, similar crimes happened at a post office in Pelham, and we have not been told of any arrests in either case. If you have something to drop off, keep in mind that you can go inside to mail it.
All right, so the nation's dealing with a shortage of bus drivers, and it's something that we're feeling right at home as well. The new Birmingham Express bus system is rolling along despite the shortage and some technical growing pains. WVTM 13's John Papke offers tonight's update on that $60 million transit service.
It looks like right now it's only taking debit card.
Clarence Muhammad is part of a growing number of riders trying out the new BRT system.
It's going to be a connector to make transportation faster, and it's bringing Birmingham into the 21st century.
But right now, the BJCTA is facing a serious problem. They need to fill a third of their bus driver slots, part of a bus driver shortage impacting transit systems nationwide.
That means that there may be a driver not assigned to a particular run to get to a location on the BRT, but that happens very rarely. That's like 1% of the time.
On top of battling that bus driver shortage, the new Birmingham Express system is also experiencing some growing pains with its high-tech payment terminals. Kenneth King believes the BRT is the best transit system in the state, but for those who carry cash, ticket kiosks that don't accept currency is a cause for concern.
The improvement they should make is have their technician person to go to each and every station and make sure that it receives cash instead of coins instead of debit cards.
Director Charlotte Shaw says they began charging fares for the $60 million express service last month, and working with 5 separate vendors to iron out all the terminal kinks is a process.
Now that we're in a live environment with actual people and currency and coins and things of that nature, it's just going to take a little bit longer just to work out those kinds of kinks.
To keep cashing in on eager express customers like Muhammad for many rides to come. In Birmingham, John Papke, WVTM 13.
A former nurse is filing suit against UAB Hospital. Lawyers for Ashlyn Jones says that she dealt with 3 years of intimidation, pain, and psychological distress. According to the lawsuit, UAB pushed Jones to work consecutive shifts despite chronic back pain. The suit says she later experienced depression and anxiety. Jones' own doctor said that she should not have been doing that. At the time, she worked the overnight shift. Her request to move to days was denied.
UAB is the most powerful, most prestigious, and best hospital in the state of Alabama. And when one of their nurses had a series of medical crises, they turned their back to her.
And Jones was later fired under what Davis calls false pretenses. In a comment to WVTM 13, UAB Hospital says it doesn't comment on pending litigation.
The Jefferson County Commission is going to give $500,000 in funding to the Magic City Classic. The initial proposal was for 3 years at $750,000 per year. County Commissioner LaShonda Scales says that without the money, the Classic could be in jeopardy of finding a new home, and she wants the city to step in and help.
We're at a one-year agreement in terms of the county, and hopefully the city is going to do its part to put more money in it so that these schools know that we're very serious and we care about what they care about too, which is to make sure that their institutions are properly funded.
Commissioner Scales hopes that it does their part to ensure the Classic stays in the Magic City.
The city of Southside wants the public's input on its strategic plan for the future. It addresses areas of need and improves other aspects of the city. Among the plans, expanding the city's parks with connecting trails, improved roads, adding lanes for cyclists and pedestrians, and a walkable town center on Highway 77. What's old is new again in parts of Birmingham. The city of Birmingham is putting millions back into several rec centers around town.
Yeah, really something the communities are getting behind. WVTM 13's Patsy Douglas spoke with leaders about the updates.
Local residents tell me that it's been years since they've seen updated rec centers in the area. The city looking to invest about $4 million into several rec centers in the area. Most of the buildings are needing major work done to their doors, floors, pools, and even walls. Director of Parks and Recreation says they're thankful to be getting these funds as most of the centers are about 50 years old.
Rec centers are needed, and you look at Hayes K through 8, MLK is right next door, so a lot of those students participate at the rec center, playing ball, getting tutoring assistance or what have you.
Now in Inslee, local residents say it's been years since the basketball gym floors have been updated, most of the kids having to use half of the court to enjoy a simple game.
They need to be done real bad. They really do. If nothing don't get did but the gym floor, let it be, but the gym floor definitely need to be done.
Now officials say getting those courts back in playing shape will also help keep young people active and off the street. Now the city, they're looking to get these updates done as soon as possible. To look at a list of those rec centers here in the area, you can go to birminghamal.gov. In Inslee, Patsy Douglas, WVTM 13.
Still to come at 6:30, students at Wallace State going above and beyond the project they're working on that will eventually land one of the most prestigious museums in the world.
Just keep swimming. It's been a long time coming. Now a Montevallo swimmer is doing something that's never been done in school history.
6 months later, we're pregnant again.
Yeah, talk about a whole new world. It is the best story you're going to see this week. A family in Tuscaloosa welcoming not one, but 2 sets of twins in 2 years. Look at those guys right there. Their story's coming up next. You're watching WVTM 13 News. Welcome back. We are in the final full week of Black History Month, and tonight we're going to introduce you to the first black students to graduate from UAB's School of Medicine.
Richard Dale and Samuel Sullivan are Parker High School graduates, and they would go on to be roommates at Howard University. After college, Sullivan talked Dale into coming back home. In 1970, UAB handed out its first degrees. Dale and Sullivan were among the graduates.
Richard Dale passed away back in 2005. UAB says he had the reputation for being a good doctor and friend. As for Samuel Sullivan, he would go on to practice as an OBGYN in Birmingham for several years.
All right, some news we love tonight. For the first time, the city of Fultondale has a bilingual police officer. Lisa Bartels joined the department earlier this month. She has more than 20 years of experience. The biggest role for Officer Bartels will be to support and serve the Latino community.
All right, so in just a couple of weeks, the USFL is back for season number 2. And as always, ticket prices seem to, for the action rather, seem very affordable.
Yeah, so you can check out the Stallions or New Orleans Breakers for just $10 a ticket. Not bad. Between the two teams, 10 games will be played at Protective this year. And you can actually get those season tickets for as low as $30 per ticket. There's more information at usfl.com.
Back up the middle. The 17-year-old delivers. Dowling will score. Alabama leads.
That swing putting Alabama on top of Samford last night. 3 outs later, Coach Patrick Murphy had victory number 1,200. Murphy's in the middle of his 23rd season as head coach in Tuscaloosa. This includes several SEC titles and a national championship.
For the first time in school history, a Montevallo swimmer is going to the Nationals. Will Mahone has been at Montevallo since the swimming program was founded in 2019. Next month, he'll represent the school at the D2 National Championships. He will compete in the 100 and 200-yard backstroke. The finals are set for March 10th and 11th. Good luck to him. A project Wallace State students are working on will soon be displayed at the Smithsonian.
That's pretty cool. So the Machine Tool Tech program is part of a NASA program, and students are restoring a telescope that flew in space on 2 different occasions. They're building the brackets astronauts use to anchor themselves during spacewalks, and once they're done, this is going to be on display at the Smithsonian's Institute Air and Space Museum.
What? You were kidding me. You are kidding me.
He's not going to believe
You are kidding.
All right, so some news we love tonight. This is from Tuscaloosa. It has been just over a year since Brittany and Frankie Alba welcomed twins to the world.
Yeah, now Brittany is expecting again, and to everyone's surprise, another set of twins. 2 sets of identical twins since August 2021. That certainly is a lot. With Levi, Luca, Lindley, and Lydia, the Alba house is a full one, to say the least.
Tons and tons of bottles. The dishwasher's always going. The laundry's always going. Toys everywhere.
We were trying to get any sleep that we could, and they didn't sleep actually until they were a year old, and they actually slept together for the first time. We actually made them a bed, and they slept all night.
Brittany's a teacher. Frankie works with the Tuscaloosa Fire Department. Both were able to stay at home longer than normal because their coworkers donated some sick time. They're now back at work, and their grandparents are going to be taking care of the kids during the day. We learned earlier that one set of the children will be going to one side, and the other will be going to the other grandparents.
Oh, okay. So that's cool. They're all helping out, right?
Yes. So congratulations to them. It's going to be a lot of work.
I was going to say, he sounded like he said they didn't sleep for the first year. I mean, they're up probably feeding and stuff, and now it's a whole nother round of that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
You both know about that.
That is cool.
Yeah. My oldest didn't sleep through the night till he was 15 months old.
Wow.
Okay.
That's why I don't have hair. We'll go with that.
Hey, we got some cool weather, some cooler weather, I should say, to talk about.
Yeah, it will start to feel a little more like it should this time of year tomorrow. Surprisingly, the average high for late February is low 60s. That is it's common. There are a lot of days where we are colder, a lot of days where we're warmer than that, but there are not a lot of days in February when we're in the 80s. Or even in the 70s just before 7 p.m., and that's where we are right now. It is a very warm evening around Birmingham, 77 Norwood, 72 in Trussville, 71 at Chelsea, 72 at Helena, 76 degrees in Bessemer, still 78 in T-Town, 80 at Utah. Gadsden has dropped to 66. We may very well see some fog developing around the Gadsden area pretty soon because of the rain that we saw there earlier. and the fact that the sky is clearing at least temporarily before more clouds start to move in later tonight. One little shower left in southern Talladega County, and I think we'll likely see a few more of those around through early tomorrow morning. We'll fast forward here to 4 a.m. Notice the wind here, Cullman, Jasper, Fayette out of the north. Around the Birmingham metro area, it's turning to the north around that time, but still out of the south for Clanton, for Sylacauga, and for Anniston, and we're near 70 degrees at 4 a.m. The good news is cold front's coming in, no severe storms, just some showers. By 6 o'clock in the morning, Haleyville's at 49, while Clanton is at 68. What a contrast we'll have tomorrow. Upper 40s around Winston and Marion counties, low 50s around Cullman, upper 50s around Gadsden at 9 a.m. And the colder air is moving south, but it will have trouble really cooling us down that much in Birmingham. So yes, we dropped significantly from today, but we're not talking about an extremely cold day. And as far as rain, you can see most of this will be near and north of Birmingham. These forecast models like this are never an exact replica of what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, but it gives us the idea here that from around Jefferson County northward, our rain chance is better. From Shelby County southward, rain chance not quite as significant. Temperatures going the wrong way Friday. We get a good chance of scattered showers, especially north of Birmingham on Saturday. And then we fast forward here to Monday of next week, the high up to 76. It will be windy again as a strong low pulls to the north, and we're watching a band of showers and thunderstorms that could come through here. There's potential for some stronger storms in the mix there, but there are still some question marks about it. Regardless, it's going to be a windy and rainy day at times. Tuesday and Wednesday are drier, but still very warm in the afternoons, and then some wet weather settles in early next week. Ian and Sherry.
All right, so stay with us. Coming up next at 6:30, we got your primetime headlines. Everything you need to know in just 1 minute. You're watching WVTM 13 News. Welcome back. I want to run you through some of the biggest news events if you're just about to settle in for the night.
Yeah, here's the primetime headlines in a minute or less. Another lawsuit filed against the city of Brookside. This one saying police held a man in jail for a week after a traffic stop. While in jail, the man claims he was naked, withheld medicine, and was not allowed to call anyone. More details on the suit on the WVTM 13 app.
So in the middle of a loud chance, Alabama's Brandon Miller put on a show at South Carolina, a career high in points, including the game winner. Coach Nate Oates and Athletics Director Greg Byrne addressing why Miller played. You can hear their thoughts coming up tonight at 10.
And in Gadsden, the city is holding a town hall on the possible removal of the occupational tax. If passed, the mayor says it could cost the city millions of dollars. We'll have the latest tonight at 10.
And coming up on WVTM 13 here in just a few minutes, 3 straight hours of Law and Order, and then Sherry is back with WVTM 13 News at 10.